What's up, guys? It's Totentons back with another Kingdom of Loathing video. Today we're going to do hardcore Ed the Undying. So if you don't know how this run works, basically you're going to have no access to any of your skills or familiars, no access to your campground, and you're playing as Ed the Undying. I've only done a couple of these runs so far, so it's still kind of a little bit of a learning curve. But we're going to try to do this in 2 days, and we'll see how it goes. So first thing is, obviously, if you haven't done this before, you may want to read up on it a little bit. With Ed, you're not going to have much stomach or liver space, and in fact, you'll have none when you start out. You'll have a little bit of spleen, and we can expand the spleen. But since we're only going to have small amounts of liver and stomach space, once we finally get those, we're not going to want to go with the hot dog. We'll want to go with the six-pack. And then since we don't have any access to any of our skills, we're not going to have torso awareness, so the astral shirt may not be a good option. But it is an option if you are going to use a different moon sign than you normally would. So here we're going to already have access to the desert beach because we are Ed the Undying and his pyramid is in the desert. So you don't necessarily need to go with the null sign. In fact, the only benefit of going with a null sign is going to be easy access to the frilly skirt and getting the screwdriver for the untinker, but having the ability to purchase torso awareness can actually, possibly be better than that, especially if you have the garbage tote and you want to use the garbage shirt to try to power level. So I'm going to go with the astral shirt, and we already took the six-pack. Let's go ahead and perm a couple skills here. And then we're going to head to the Bureau of Reincarnation, and we're going to choose hardcore. Class doesn't matter because we're going to go to older paths, and we're going to pick actually Ed the Undying. I'm going to go with the blender. It's a gnome sign, so we can purchase torso awareness later on. It's also going to give us plus 10% to all mysticality gains and plus 5 adventures per day from booze. So that'll help out a little bit since our turn gen isn't going to be that great without much stomach or liver space. No, do once more onto the breach. Now, you're going to get these warnings here saying that your purchase from the deli may not be appropriate with this path since Ed does not have those organs to begin with. And originally it was kind of sort of trying to push you in the direction of getting the astral energy drink, which we no longer have anyway. So just ignore those. Ed predates the invention of shirts. Do you really want to take the actual pet? Yes, we do. And we're going to hit once more onto the breach. And then you'll get the introductory text here. The Ed path actually has some of the best writing in the game. It's what most people enjoy the most about this path. So I definitely recommend that you take the time to read through this instead of just skipping through everything. So just to get you up to speed, where we're starting off in Ed is basically right after you have defeated Ed in a normal run. So you're knitting yourself back together, and then you're heading upstairs after the Holy MacGuffin has been stolen from you. If you have a script that runs on Ascension, it's going to run after you click the head upstairs, so that's when you'll get a brief pause here. Now with the Ed path, you do get permanent skill points that will carry over depending on how many runs you have and what type of run. So a softcore run gives you 1 skill point extra on the next life. A hardcore gives you 2 extra ones per hardcore ascension. You're going to start off with the Staff of Ed, which is actually the one that you just assembled when you were an adventurer before you went to defeat Ed. Alright, so you have an empty altar here. That's where the MacGuffin would be. You have a portal to the underworld. That's going to take you to the underworld where you can purchase your upgrades to your body and some of the consumables that we'll be having. And then you have the Book of the Undying, which is where Ed's skills reside. And then your servants' quarters. Your servants are going to replace your familiars. So what I'm going to start off with, once we get our servant, is going to be the priest. The priest improves Ka drops, which those are what we're going to use to purchase body upgrades. And then the book here, we're going to start off with, looks like 5 skill points. And you have 3 different trees of skills here. You have invocations, which are basically buffs. You have evocations, which are combat skills, and then you have curses that are various different things, de-levelers and stuns and things like that. The combat skill tree is the one that I like to dump my points into at the beginning, because you're going to need these spells or else you're going to die pretty quickly. Luckily, since you're Ed the Undying, you can't actually die. You just undie and you can come back. But the final, penultimate skill in this tree is going to be the Wrath of Ra, which is a yellow ray, and that's going to be really useful. So the best combat skill you get to start, once you get in here, is the Storm of the Scarab. That's a really nice one. It's an elemental, all elements attack spell. And then the next skill after that is actually a buff. It's not a combat spell, but it's Per the Feline, which gives your servants an extra 5 levels. And that's something you want to add to your mood to run constantly. So we're going to want to get that one too. That's going to help us get our priest, once we release him, up to the level we need him to be to improve our Ka drops. So the Ka will, depending on what class of monster you fight against, is going to determine how many you get. So some of them only drop 1 per fight, some drop 2, and then some drop 0. And once you get your priest to a high enough level, it's going to increase that by 1. But the ones that give 0 still won't give any, I'm pretty sure. All right, so once we do that, we're going to head to the town and the council. And instead of the council, we're going to have our servant, Amun, here. He's our spy master, and he is going to be giving us all the tasks that we're going to do. For the most part, we're going to end up just following the same path that the adventurer did before they came and took the MacGuffin. So initially, we'll want to go visit the Toot Oriole. And there's no Toot Oriole, but there's going to be a letter to Ed the Undying, which is kind of weird. Dear Mr. the Undying, on behalf of the Jackal Demon Soul Collection and Banking Authority, allow me to welcome you back to the land of the living. Not that you ever really left it, per se. We wish you good luck in your quest to retrieve the Holy MacGuffin and hope that your time spent in the mortal realm will be profitable. Please accept these gifts as a token of our esteem. Yours sincerely, Akrachakahu, JDS, CBA Vice Treasurer. So every time that you kill something that has a soul, these jackal people are going to come and collect the soul, and that's what's going to give you the Ka tokens. So we'll get our pork elf goodie sack and a disassembled clover, just like normal. Let's go ahead and use that sack, and we'll summon our pants. Normally, so we're a mysticality class when you're playing Ed automatically. So you may want to actually buff your muscle or your moxie to help you survive. And then remember, since we don't have access to our normal skill trees, we have no intrinsic elemental resistance from any passives that you might have. So you're going to want to pick your element based on that. So I'm going to go actually with Stench for day 1, and a Bacon Stone, and then some Self-Respect, and we may want to just go with the Porpoise. Alright, so let's summon our pants. And since we live in a pyramid, if you go to the campground, there's nothing there, so we're not going to have access to any of our tomes, or the source terminal, or the Witch's set, or our Aslan Martin. So it's going to make things a little bit more challenging. We have very limited, actually only really one way to copy anything other than faxing things in and using our genie bottle. So a lot of the normal tricks that we'd use aren't going to work. All right, so let's harvest our chateau. Let's get a Mysticality stat, and then I'm actually going to summon a 1952 card. and auto sell that for some meat to start. So I would recommend keeping the wiki page open to help you remember what gives what for COD drops. But as a good general rule, we want to concentrate on pirates and hippies early on to get 2K a piece, because if we run out of those adventures and we don't have any upgrades to our spleen or any spleen items purchased or the upgrades to the liver and stomach, then we're going to end up not being able to do very much on day one. All right, so we are level 5 though, so we actually should head into the pyramid. And let's go ahead and hit the book. Okay, so Lash of the Cobra is a pickpocket skill, and that's going to be really useful for us as well. So I'm going to want to grab that. I said grab it. And you'll want to set up a mood as well. So we'll want per the feline running. There we go. And then let's go ahead and actually refresh this and get chat closed out and open up the guide. All right, so let's just get the wiki open here. And let's look at the skill tree here. Okay, so we have enough that we could get the yellow ray here. And then after that, we may want to grab Curse of the Marshmallow. It's a D-leveler. But we also have Prayer here of Seshat, or whatever, however you want to say that. That's plus 3 mysticality stats per fight. And the one right after that, Wisdom of Thoth, that's Thoth. Yeah, that's a pretty useful one too. Those will both help our leveling and survivability. But that D-leveler would be nice too. So depending on how many skill points you start out with, you'll want to really allocate those carefully. Let's see, what do we got? We have 2 more. So we could probably do without the yellow ray to start and grab these 2 for now to help our survivability. And then we should be able to get a servant at this point. And that's when we're going to do the priest. And you can rename these things if you want. Like, we can just name them whatever we really want. And then we'll head back to the council and get our tasks from Amun. And let's go ahead and grab our cowboy boots. So I recommend, most likely, you'll want to put these as the plus adventures per day. I actually have them set as the plus muscle for this stat to help with survival, since Ed can be kind of squishy otherwise. And the crazy horse looks decent today. We might want to go with that. The dark horse is always useful too. But the pale horse is actually pretty useful in this run until we get the upgrades that give us elemental wards. And then we have protection from that. But you can always switch back and forth between the horses. It's only 500 meat after the first initial horse. I'm going to go with the crazy horse for now. And of course we do have access to the VIP lounge. So we can visit the foundry and grab something from there. Your best weapon is usually going to be the Staff of Ed, but we'll lose that when we hit the level 11 quest. A lot of these other pieces aren't going to necessarily help you depending on what you have for items of the month. So I'm actually going to go with the fish hatchet. The fish hatchet can be useful for helping us skip part of the chasm. And of course, it's going to boost our muscle and drop our combat encounters when we have it equipped. Any other items of the month you'll want to use at your discretion. Just keep in mind, no familiar, so The mumming trunk is going to be useless in this run. And unless you pick a gnome sign, or you decide to go through the trouble of getting torso awareness the other way, you're not going to have use for a shirt from the garbage tote. However, some of these other things can be useful. For example, there's very few sources of monster level. If you don't have some sources of that through items of the month, then you may want to take the astral belt in Valhalla rather than the shirt. But the pants here, these can be nice for it. It's plus 25 to monster level and adds sleaze damage. I'm just going to go with the wad of use tape for now. And then, of course, we'll want to examine our briefcase if you have that. The initial setting is plus 25 to weapon damage, which is not going to be helpful. I would do either the plus 50% spell damage or the plus 5 prismatic can be helpful too. Over here under slot 3, really any of these can be helpful. Depending on where you're at, these elemental resistances can be extremely helpful. The plus 25 to initiative isn't going to be as big of a deal once you have all the upgrades, though, because we will get some pretty significant boosts to our initiative, as well as damage absorption. There's a good one for that, too. But I'm going to switch to that for now and leave the spell damage at 50%. And let's just make sure that we unlocked that sucker. Yes, we did. Okay, we'll want that unlocked for sure. And we need to get our torso awareness real quick here. So let's head to the desert beach, visit Frank, and let's purchase torso awareness. Some of these other skills may be useful. Just keep in mind they are 5,000 meat apiece. So learning them on day one's probably not going to be a real high priority. All right, so we're at level 5. We don't regenerate HP unless we buy a specific skill for that or items to help with it. So right now, if we go to the love tunnel, we're probably going to get beaten up, and that's going to suck because you can't undie in the love tunnel because there's 3 different fights in a row. So what I want to do first is head on into one of these other places and see if we can lose a fight. So with Ed, when you go to the underworld, when you die, you can go to the underworld, and then you can return to fight again. And the underworld, as I said earlier, is where you get all your upgrades to everything. But if you go to the underworld through your pyramid manually, it's going to cost you an adventure to return. And it's going to warn you, if you enter the underworld via this portal, it will cost you 1 adventure to return to the mortal realm. So we don't want to ever do that. It's never a good idea to go that way, ever. So it's always going to be better to get beat up and go there that way. Okay, so here in the spooky forest, just as a heads up, a few of these creatures are going to give us Ka coins. We have the Wolfman, which is a dude. Dudes give us Ka, 2 Ka per fight. Pirates also do. So these are the ones you want to fight the most. Beasts give us 1. As you can see there. And plants give us nothing. So if you are here in the spooky forest, you will want to fight beasts or dudes, preferably. That's why typically you don't want to adventure there right away. And in fact, we're having a hard time getting beat up. We may need to boost our monster level. We only lost 1 HP. So let's go get a emotional vaccine. And then we do have access to a monster control device without having to spend any meat to get it. So we'll want to set that up as well. And let's actually we can go here and we should get beat up right away. There we go. So this is what happens. You've been defeated for now. Continue to the underworld. When you click that, you get all your HP restored. And there's a bunch of flavor text here that I'm going to skip. And you have two choices. You can either hit Undying and you'll return to the fight, or you can hit Enter the Underworld, and that's where you'll come down here to the two important things here, the body shop and everything under the world. The stone shrine isn't going to really tell you anything. All it is your access to smash the hippie stone. And once you do that, it's gone. The other part is the portal to the overworld, and that's just going to take us back once we're done. So let's hit the body shop real quick here. All right, so some of these are going to unlock new upgrades once we pick them. And the main things we're going to want to worry about first are replacement stomach, replacement liver, and extra spleen, and then the other spleen upgrades. A lot of these other ones may be tempting to you at first, like healing scarabs. You'd be like, oh yeah, 2 to 4 HP regeneration after every combat. But that really isn't that helpful because if you need to restore your HP, all you really got to do is just get beat up in a fight and then undie, and then you're back to full HP. So I would definitely put most of these towards the end. What we're going to want to do first is upgrade our liver, stomach, and spleen. And then the other thing we want to worry about here is the mummified beef haunch. That's going to be our best choice for the spleen. It is an awesome spleen item. It gives 5 toxicity to the spleen, and it's going to give us a lot of adventures. The other ones here, the mummified loaf of bread is only 3. The fig is only 1. They're not worth it, and really they're only there if you, for some reason, don't get enough Ka coins to buy the beef haunch. But what you'll want to do is save until you get to the beef haunch and use that instead. Don't get the loaf of bread or the fig. It's a waste. And all these things here, we could skip all that stuff for now. None of it's really going to be that helpful. Some of these talismans have some cool effects. We have massive boost item drops for monsters for one fight. It's a combat item, so you have to use it in that combat. And this talisman here actually attracts the attention of monsters, so that will be helpful when we want to do the lobster frogmen later on. And then you have the ancient cure-all, which is basically the soft green eye drop echo antidote thingy. But for now, we only have 5 Ka, so we're not going to worry about it. We're going to go back, and at this point you have 2 choices. You can return to your tomb, which is going to cost us an adventure, or you can undie and return to the fight. And we're not going to blast her with the Protonic Accelerator pack because we would die again. And undying more than once in a fight starts to cost Ka coins, so we don't want to do that. We're also going to not do the Haunted Kitchen. We're going to try to do a little trick to do the writing desk trick without having digitize. The only copy that we're going to get is here. So first we're going to fight the Love Enforcer. And since he's a dude, we're going to get 2 Ka coins. So we have a few choices here. The Cardigan can actually be a good choice because you do regenerate the HP. I'm actually not sure if you get that regeneration effect or not. I'm not going to pick it to find out either, sorry. But you do get the plus 25 to monster level, which would be nice. And then we have the standard Mysticality one that's going to give us regeneration of MP, minus 3 MP to use skills in combat only, and plus 25% to all Mysticality gains. That's going to be very useful. The earrings could also be useful. I'm probably not going to take those today, but I might take them tomorrow. It's going to give us serious resistance to all elements. That could be helpful. Depends on what level we're at by the end of the day. All right, so we should get the love elixir here if we win the fight, which we didn't. And of course, we're going to go with the love botomy. So at this point, there's no point in fighting the equivocator. We'll lose immediately. And then we'll get the boomerang. That's our only copy that we're going to have. So we lost out on 4 more coins that we could have gotten there because we got beat up, so that sucked. If we had had that de-leveling skill, we probably would have survived it. All right, so at this point, we're going to want to get beat up somewhere again so that we can undie. But what we'll want to do first... Okay, well, we can't do that yet. Let's actually go back to the council hall. And then let's go to the typical tavern. So lots of times people want to delay the typical tavern until higher levels when they're more likely to encounter rat kings. No point in doing that in an ed run because we're not going to be unlocking the pyramid. All right, we might actually have to just go. Yep, we're going to have to waste an adventure. That sucks. All right, let's not let that happen again. All right, so what we want to do from here is let's unlock the island real quick. We're not going to need the UV resistant compass either, so you only need to go to the shore 3 times. All right, so now let's head on over to the island. And at this point, we may as well try to get the pirate outfit. And you'll notice each one of these pirate combats is going to give us 2 coins as long as we win. And once our priest gets a little bit higher level, we're going to start getting 3 from each of these pirates instead of 2. The nice thing about being Ed the Undying is that you can actually have the higher monster level and not worry as much about wasting turns because we can just undie. All right, so we already got the outfit and we didn't have very many combats there, so let's hit the hippie camp. Luckily, this early on, the hippie camp should be all combats. So we'll want to pick up enough Ka to at least get a spleen item. And there we got 15. So we got beat up. Let's go ahead and hit the underworld. And let's grab a mummified beef haunch. Go back and let's undie. And then let's kill that filthy hippie. Don't be afraid to, spend like 15 to 30 combats on some hippies and some pirates to earn some Ka so that you can get that spleen and that stomach and liver upgrade going. All right. Almost got enough to get the one of the organs. Let's go ahead and use that mummified beef haunch. So you can see here, it's 5 spleen toxicity plus 25 adventures. That's 5 adventures per spleen, which isn't too terribly great compared to some of our booze that we'll have and some of the food, but that's definitely not bad at all, and it's our only good option for spleen anyway, since we have no familiar access. So we're going to consume that, and then let's actually just stay in the hippie camp for the moment and wait till we get beat up again. All right, next combat should get us beat. Okay, let's enter the underworld. Go to the body shop, and let's get a extra spleen. And then let's get another mummified beef haunch. And that's all our Ka we have for the moment. Let's undie and kill the hippie. Alright, now what we're going to do is rub our genie bottle. And let's wish to fight a writing desk. And then we'll use that love and Namarang on it. And then we'll kill it. That's going to be our first. And did we... We did, okay. Here we go. We got one in our chateau. Let's kill that. And then we'll request a fax. All right, and now we got that our fax is ready. So let's fight our photocopied monster. And that is a third writing desk. We'll get another one from our boomerang, and then we'll wait till tomorrow for the fifth one and grab that one from our chateau. And so yeah, we did use a wish and a fax on it, but since we have no hot resistance right now, unless we have like our briefcase set to +5 hot resistance, or we had set our pentagram pants to that, it would make the haunted kitchen take an extremely long time. And then we still have to do the billiards room and then fight the writing desks. So it's not going to be worth it. And there's no reason to actually go to the library other than the writing desks, because we don't need the killing jar, because we aren't doing the desert. So it just makes more sense to do this if you have the resource to do that. And we could, if we didn't have the genie, we could fax it again on day 2 as well. So if you have those resources, I would definitely recommend doing that. All right, so early on, we really want to try to confine ourselves to quests where we're going to get Ka, so that we can keep getting our upgrades. And if you could do that without having to spend too many extra adventures just hanging out in the Pirate Cove or the hippie camp, that's great. One nice thing, which one can we not equip yet? The pants. Okay. One nice thing about when you do the pirate insults for the Fledges quest is you can undie and then insult the pirate again. And that helps that go a little bit faster. But it is going to cost you Ka if you keep undying in the same combat over and over. So keep that in mind. Some of the other shortcuts that we normally would use still work well here. So we want to assemble a clover, head to the bat hole, and go to Guano Junction, use our clover, and then use sonar and a biscuit twice. And let's just double check. We did not get that yet, right? Can we get another skill yet? No, we have to level up one more level first. Okay, so we're going to want that Wrath of Ra before we go to the Beanbat Chamber, so we can do the Yellow Ray trick. The other option would be to get that one talisman and use that, and hope that, you know, along with using Lash of the Cobra, that you'll get both the Sonar and the Biscuit and the Enchanted Bean. So for now, let's go ahead and just do the typical tavern, get that out of the way. So these are beasts, which means that we'll get at least 1 Ka per fight. And our priest is level 10, so we're getting a little bit closer to when he'll be giving us 2 per fight when we're doing beasts. Ooh, magical mystery juices. Yeah, if anybody actually ends up doing the taking the cardigan, I'm interested to know whether that HP regeneration works. I think most items that are supposed to give HP regen don't seem to, or else they give MP regeneration instead, so that'd be interesting to find out. So the thing that sucks about the Deep Fat Friars quest is most of these creatures here are going to give us no Ka at all per fight. Where is the spot here? Okay, here we go. Dudes, hippies, hobos, and pirates. Gives 2. 1 from beasts, bugs, elves, fish, goblins, humanoids, merkin, orcs, penguins, and elementals. But demons and undead and horrors, plants, slimes, constructs, constellations, weird, don't give any. So I recommend just avoiding the Deep Fat Friar quest completely at the beginning, if possible. So, it's interesting. I never actually tried doing that before. So, lots of times in normal runs, I'll delay Cobb's Knob until I'm at the first semi-rare window. That may be a good idea still. But you could do that right now. Or we could go grab Untinker Screwdriver and do that first. Or you could try your luck in the bat hole. But let's actually go ahead and hit the garage and see if we can get that screwdriver. So we're fighting humanoids here, so we'll at least get 1. While we're in here, we may want to hit the gym and see if we can get... Oh, there's our 4th writing desk. See if we can get a frilly skirt from the Nolus cross-dresser. So we'll use Lash and then kill it. Him, her. And we did get the frilly skirt, so that's good. Alright, so that used up 2 adventures. So before we get too much further, let me just say we don't need to prepare for the Sorcerer's Tower at all in this run. So we don't need any of the keys. We don't need the wand. That whole thing's going to be replaced. So don't worry about preparing for that. What we may want to do at this point is just go ahead and try to unlock the Hidden Temple. At least here we have a good chance of fighting something that does give us Ka. And what we can even do, depending on what we have our combat encounters at, is banish the ones that don't give us anything, at least one of them. We have an undead, and then we have a plant that won't give us anything. Let's actually just see if we can do a little bit better. Yeah, we could put that on, and we could switch to our Dark Horse for now, or we could swim sprints. Let's just do all the above. I don't want to Trank Dart the vampire right now, because I want to save that Trank Dart, so hopefully... And there's another undead. There we go. The guide is saying that we probably have approximately 7.3 turns to unlock the whole thing. We'll see. And we're down to 1 adventure, so let's use another spleen item. And actually, I think we're gonna... Let's see, we're at level 6. We're going to want to use our time spinner for some time spinning of our meals. But we can go ahead and use 1 compounded experience and get us a little bit closer. And then let's hit our Chateau. The Chateau is not going to restore any HP for us. Let's actually take a Mysticality Shower real quick. Don't bother setting any of these because they're not going to actually work. But we can gain stats from the Chateau, so that got us to level 7. The problem with the level 7 quest is the Crypt is all undead, so you want to save that for when you don't need Ka also. But we're at level 7, so now we can get the Yellow Ray skill. Let's head back to the Bat Hole, and let's put our Epaulets back on. And hit the Beanbat Chamber. And we'll do Lash first. We got the Enchanted Bean. We probably won't get the Sonar and a Biscuit. So let's just use it. And you get 100 turns of everything looks yellow. So it's an improvement over most of the Yellow Rays where you get 150. It's giving us 100 just like Disintegrate does. So that's nice. Right, and then the Boss Bat's lair is going to be all the beefy bodyguard bats. So they're all beasts, and they will all give us 1 Ka apiece. And as you can see, just using the Storm of the Scarab is basically wiping these guys out in one shot. So, okay, semi-rare windows open. Let's go ahead and head to the outskirts of Cobb's Knob. Actually, let's go to our inventory real quick first. Let's put on the garbage shirt. And let's just see if we have any other sources of monster level here. We have our daily affirmation. And we can actually extend that using incredible self-esteem. Alright, now let's go to the outskirts. Alright, let's see if we can get a hat. Chef's Hat is a decent early choice hat. Regenerate 1 MP per adventure. It's better than nothing. And let's actually check. Yeah, we didn't set our mood properly. Deleted those out of it. And then didn't add them back in, so let's add those to our mood. And these are all goblins, so they're going to give us 1 Ka piece, but we got the non-goblin lunchbox. That's what we wanted. We got 2 pasties out of that. We can time spin those if we need to. They're probably going to be the only epic food that we'll get on day 1 unless we purposefully go and get some somewhere else or happen to just get one from our KOL Snow Globe. And of course we want to keep getting that Adventurer's Best Friendship buff when we're able to. And there's the encryption key. All right, let's head on in. Where are we at adventure-wise? We're at 9. We have 28 Ka. We have almost enough to unlock our other organs. Let's actually... No, I think we're okay. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. All right. So we'll go into the harem. And let's just trank dart that guy. We'll use Lash. And we got our perfume. We'll use Lash of the Cobra again here. And of course we only got finger symbols. Leftover pasty, nice. We can time spin that and fill up on that once we have a stomach. And we have 30 Ka now, so we're probably going to get beat up There we go. Yep. So let's enter the underworld. And let's hit the body shop. And let's get a replacement stomach. And we do still have 5. No, we don't have any. We used them all up. We don't have any spleen space. We're going to want to get some more spleen space pretty soon. And we're going to want to get that liver unlocked pretty quick here too. So let's take our portal back. Let's undie. And then hopefully get the veil. We did get the veil. Awesome. All right, so we've got the outfit. Let's go ahead and eat. All right, so that upgrade gave us 5 stomach space. We have enough here to get 3 if we eat all our epic stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to eat that leftover pasty. Then we're going to hit our time spinner. And we're going to travel back to a delicious meal and time spin that pasty. All right, so that leaves us 1 more fullness. We can either round that out with a knob pasty, which isn't as good as leftover pasty, or we could save it and use an optimal dog once we got to the top floor of the castle. I'm just going to go ahead and eat a knob pasty for now. All right, so let's see if we can equip that. We can. Okay, so we're going to equip that. We're going to spray some perfume on ourselves. And then let's hit the throne room. And we're just going to fight him. And we're fighting the new Knobgoblin King. So all the bosses that were defeated by the adventurer are all replaced with different ones. And are going to have different flavor texts. So this is actually the previous Knobgoblin King's son. Don't bother using Lash on these guys. You're not going to get anything. Other than that, they're going to drop basically the same stuff. But you're going to get different factoids if you have the manual. Alright, so definitely need to get some more Ka before we get too much lower in adventures. And our priest is still only level 12. I'm pretty sure he has to be level 14. Let's see. Yeah, level 14 ability is improves Ka drops, so he needs to level up a couple more levels before he's going to give us more. So if we want to get 2 per, we got to go and fight the pirates or the hippies still. Can we wear the swashbuckling pants yet? No, we cannot. So let's hit the hippie camp in that case. And we'll just dump some adventures in here to grab some more Ka. Ideally, we want to get 45 pretty soon so we can get the liver and get another, actually we want 50, so we want another haunch, and then we want to upgrade our spleen. But we'll see what we get here. We do have some other options for monster level once we have the liver. We could have done it with the stomach too, using stuff from the precinct. Alright, so next fight we will probably get beaten up. Ooh, let's grab a tennis ball. There's another banish. That'll be helpful later on. Okay, let's head to the underworld. And let's just check it out. What do we got? Yeah, our next spleen is 10. So we'll need at least another 10 Ka to get the spleen and another mummified beef haunch. So let's go ahead and undie. And hit that. Okay, so now we get another skill. We have a few options here. This one, actually, let's just look at the wiki. It's a little bit easier. Is just a buff to spell damage. And the rest of these, it's not going to be too helpful till we get down here. We get the monster level buff, and then we got one to lower our combat encounters. And then this one ups our item drops, so that'd be helpful too. But at this point, we might want to get the Curse of the Marshmallow, to get the D-leveler. And the final one in that tree is Olfaction, which is nice, and a Banish right before that. But we might not get enough skills to get down to that point. So I think we could definitely get down to the one where we get monster level, though. Because we only have 2 more to go to get to that. I think I'm going to actually go with the D level, though. And our priest is at level 13, so he's closer to being more helpful with those COD drops. So let's just hit the hippies a little bit more here. We don't want to waste too many adventures on these guys, though, because we are trying to do this in 2 days. So adventures that we're wasting here are adventures that we're not spending on stuff that could actually be useful towards getting us to our end goal. But let's just do one more fight after this. And that gets us to 30. Let's head to the bat hole. And you could buff your meat drops here if you had a way to do that. If you wanted to, if you needed to. So this is the replacement boss bat. Basically, it's a large 2-headed bat, which is obviously dead. And it's just hanging from the ceiling, suspended by a series of ropes and rudimentary pulleys, turning it into, just a lame puppet version of the old boss bat. So they're trying to, I'm going to kill you through a megaphone. It's obviously not the real boss bat. Let's just kill it. Ooh, candy carrot. And let's go back to Amun, and we'll get the next level quest. All right, may as well grab a shot from the time spinner. Maybe useful later on. It is an epic type booze, so. And then let's actually hit our time spinner for a minute here. We have 4 minutes left. We could reproduce a fight, or we could use it to power level. Let's go talk to the trapper first. And how many turns? We have 64 turns left of yellow. All right, so here, it's not really going to be any use for anybody but the dairy goat. So it may be worth banishing the other guys here. But just keep in mind that our banishments are very limited here. All we have is 3 trank darts a day, and then whatever tennis balls we manage to get, and that's it. So let's enter the underworld. Let's go to the body shop, and let's buy that liver. And that's going to give us 5 liver space. Now you may be tempted to use your astral pilsners here, but don't do that. We're not going to want to use those today unless we get to level 11. All right, there's a saber-tooth goat. I'm going to actually just trank dart that guy, get him out of here. And I'm not going to bother using Lash of the Cobra on the drunk goat because he doesn't have anything we want anyway. And we'll just undie. And you can't use Lash of the Cobra twice, even after you undie. Even a lot of other stuff you can, like the Pyre Insults or the Rock Flyers. So just keep that in mind. Don't try to build a strategy around that. Glass of Goat Smoke is not going to be useful to us here. If you were doing softcore, you could pull a Milk and Magnesium and do that if you wanted to. But in hardcore, there's no way to do that, so don't worry about getting those. All right, so for getting the ore, you have a few options. We can use the deck of every card. Whoops, skip past it. And do mine, and that'll give us one of each. You can clover it. I'm not going to clover it. I'm going to just hold off on that and see if we can yellow ray a mountain man later on by wishing for him. Alright, so priest still isn't quite there to where we want him to be. And we have 59 turns left if everything looks yellow. If we really wanted to, we could just wish for another writing desk and open up that second floor, but I'm going to recommend against doing that. Really what we need to do is, and actually we have it available now, is get those swashbuckling pants available. Since we can wear those now, we're going to go ahead and head over to the mysterious island of mystery. We're going to want to take off the fish hatchet and put on the staff of Ed. And get rid of that dark horse. We'll go back to the crazy horse. And what else do we have going on? Oh, silent running is still active. We have 1 turn left of that, so I'm not going to worry about that. But we have some reodorant that we got in the hippie camp, so we can use some of that. And let's head to Barney's bar. Well, first we'll hit the bookstore and get the book. And get the abridged dictionary too. Alright, so no access to perm skills means no macro meteorite here, so we're going to want to just insult the pirates as we go. You could purposefully die here to be able to insult again. You may want to boost your initiative if you're going to be trying to do that. And there we go, our priest is finally level 14. So we're getting 3k per on these guys. Alright, so you see how we insulted him and then we got defeated. We're going to undie and we can insult again. But if we tried to do that again another time, I'll show you. You're going to see eventually it's going to start costing an increasing number of COD to do that. Let me just get to that point so I can show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so you can see here, the third time it's going to cost us 1, and then it's just going to keep doubling from there. So you don't want to do that too much to the point where you're wasting tons of COD, unless you're at the point where you don't need any more, of course. But that would mean you're saving this till day 2 at the very least. And if you're doing that, then you probably have a different strategy going on anyway. So you want to do it a maximum of twice per. And let's actually just go ahead and grab that spleen upgrade real quick here. You can see once we do that, we get yet another extra spleen. It goes up to 35 total. And no, you don't keep that when you finish the run. All right, so we'll undie him one more time, and then let's kill him. Ooh, Taco Dan's taco. Fish, fish, taco. Nah, that's probably not going to be helpful to us. And Mild Curse is a good one to use if you don't want to kill the guys. Alright, so we're at 6 insults. Seven finally. Okay, so we're good on insults. So now we just need to get the map. So we don't need to worry about Undying to try to get more insults at this point. Just go ahead and insult him and kill him. Let's grab a mummified beef haunch and head back into the fight. We're at 8 insults now, so we may want to swap out our Staff of Ed for the fish hatchet. And it looks like our garbage shirt just fell apart as well, so most of the non-combats here when you're playing as Ed are the worst possible ones, so make sure you watch those carefully. And once you get the map and you have enough insults, go ahead and use it. We're not going to be able to finish this Fledge's quest just yet, though, because we don't have any hot wings, because we've skipped the deep fat fryers up until this point. So now what we want to do is let's go ahead and just turn that in real quick and get the blueprints. And now we're going to want to go do at least part of the deep fat fryers quest. There it is. And let's actually get that wad of use tape back out. Since our item drops are pretty abysmal as Ed, anything that enhances those is going to be helpful. As you can see, even with the wad of use tape, item drops are only plus 35%. There are some servants to assist with that, but I'm going to be keeping the priest on until we have enough Ka. However, we actually, since we're going to the cops of the deep fat fryers, we're not going to get Ka anyway, so we may want to switch to something that will enhance our item drops, which we have. Actually, let's just look at this part. Was it down or up? Okay. We have the cat, which helps find items at level 7. And since we have the per the feline active, he should be almost level 7 pretty early on. But not until level 21 will we get plus 25% item drops from monsters. Or we have the scribe, which improves stat gains. May want to actually use that one for now. Actually, let's do that. Put him to work. And let's head over to the cops. And let's try to get some hot wings. So this is another spot where we'll want to be using Lash of the Cobra to try to get at least 3 hot wings. We'll also have our Halloweener dog that will give us some hot wings, depending on how many adventures we spend in each of these places. We may want to enhance our minus combat. Yeah, let's go ahead and just swap to the Dark Horse again. Just pay attention to what the drops are from these guys, and don't really worry too much about using Lash on the ones that don't give us hot wings, because almost all these items aren't going to be helpful to us otherwise. Alright, so we have a few options here for booze that are going to be helpful. We don't want to use any of our Pilsners yet. As you can see, they're only 8 per adventure. If we just hold off on those, it'll be a lot better. So we can use that Hell in the Bucket. Another option, if you're really desperate, is you could wish for like a Witch's Bishop. That's only going to give you 1, but you know, if you need it, then it's there. All right, and we're probably going to get beaten up. Yep. Let's undie. Lash of the Cobra and wipe them out. Okay, we're at 2 hot wings. And yeah, they still give the top costume drops, but those aren't going to obviously be helpful for us at all. And the mumming trunk doesn't work on your servants here, so don't bother trying that either. Alright, we still need another hot wing. May end up having to burn a extra adventure in this area. There we go, finally. Alright. And we can just wrap this area up real quick. Hopefully real quick. There's our birthday candles. Alright, so let's get that wrapped up. Okay, and then let's put on our frilly skirt. Go to our inventory and use those blueprints. And we're going to cat burgle the orcs. Put on our swashbuckling getup. And let's head back to Barney's Bar. And we'll play some insult beer pong. We've got 8 insults, so we're guaranteed to win. And then we can head on over to the forecastle. This area can be challenging because we don't have very good item drops. And now that we're back to pirates, we'll want to switch back to our priest. And then this is one of those areas, and actually you can see the guide here recommending it. That talisman is going to be helpful. Let's just see what other options we might have. Yeah, terminal, right. Not sure that that is going to be useful right now. And obviously we don't want to just go to the underworld through our pyramid. So let's just head over to the forecastle. And we'll want to use Lash. And we didn't get what we wanted there. Ooh, we're going to want to switch to the staff. And let's actually get rid of the dark horse again. We're going to need to get beaten up here. Alright, there we go. And we only have 14k right now, but the talisman we want here is only one, and it's going to be 3 total to get 3 of them. There we go. So that's not too bad. And let's just check this out. We need another few. We're going to need 15 to get the other spleen, and then we have a few more spleens still to get after that. So we do have quite a bit that we need to save up for. All right, so let's undie, and let's use the talisman, and then kill this guy, and then use the rigging shampoo. Let's use lash and see if we just happen to get what we want. We don't. Let's undie, and then we'll use the talisman and then kill him. And use his mop. Alright, so you may be tempted to banish some of these guys. I wouldn't bother doing that because we want their Ka. There's 3 Ka per. You could banish the clingy pirate if you had the cocktail napkin still, but I'm going to kill her instead and take her soul to get coins. Alright, there's the creamy pirate. Let's go down to the underworld. And let's get that other spleen upgrade. And the next one's going to be 20. Then let's undie, use the talisman, and then kill him. And there's our ball polish. One more turn, and we have our pirate fledges. Alright, so we now have, we're at the level 9. Let's put our greatest briefcase back on. You don't get the leaflet quest at level 9. So to recap, we are we just hit level 9. We have 8 adventures left, but we haven't drank much yet, and we have some spleen space, but we're going to need to get some more cod to be able to fill that up. Our quests are kind of a mess compared to what they would normally look like with sequencing, but we don't have a whole lot of unattended stuff yet. We're only at 153 turns. We could probably get another 100 or so turns in today pretty easily, but for the moment I'm just going to take a short break, and then we'll be back to finish day 1 with part 2 in just a little bit.